Previously on Lost.
Greetings and welcome back. This is Ron Smelik.
And Fellonius the Wizard with Previously on Lost. We are now getting into Season 2 and 2016.
Oh man, Happy New Year. Hope your holidays were nice.
Well, we don't know. How do we?
Well,
but we are luckily not on a deserted island, at least.
Lucky or unlucky, I don't know. It's kind of cold here.
Oh, right. It's cold here too.
So we are continuing our look back at the TV show Lost,
Yes.
discussing the characters, the events. I think it's somewhat of a non-traditional podcast in that we pick out what has appealed to us, but we don't necessarily go over every plot point that we passed.
But the characters we are trying to keep up with. And we are taking 3 episodes at a time, and that also gives us a much more variety to talk around. But it's also giving it a bit mixing the episodes. We are already giving you an excuse for that. Sorry, it might happen.
Yeah, and these are going up on our YouTube channels. That's our primary media that we hang out together on. And I may also be doing the audio version of these on iTunes if everything's going well.
Yeah, that's cool.
And this episode we're going to cover, and I think we just jump right into it. If you missed our season 1 recap, there's a few season 2 predictions in there, but basically we can't wait to talk about it. So we're gonna
No, we can't.
So we're gonna discuss episode 1, 2, and 3.
Yes, Man of Science, Man of Faith. The second one is called Adrift, and the last one is called Orientation.
And instead of trying to recap everything that happens, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to read the synopsis from my DVD collection. So this is the printed material that comes with the box set. So episode 1, Man of Science, Man of Faith, says, the opening of the hatch leads to a disagreement between Jack and Locke. While searching for Walt's dog, Shannon has a frightening vision. Locke and Kate defy Jack and return to the hatch. Jack follows them and makes a shocking discovery.
Yeah. Well, that was a nice recap. That's pretty much. Yeah. Well, that was that episode. We can. No. But it starts something completely different, doesn't it? Oh. It starts with a fallout feeling. Yes. And now, to explain that, we need to tell people that doesn't play video games. There is a video game called Fallout, and in that you are getting out of some sort of bunker or anything. A vault, they are calling it. And it's after the fact that it has been dropped nuclear weapons on the planet, I think. I haven't really bothered with the story. I just play the game. And this is actually almost as if it was live, this first scene. There's a guy who is getting up. We don't know that at the point why, but we get to it later on. And he's exercising and he's eating. And then he just fixed something that makes it be 108 again. And at that point, I didn't know it was minutes.
Yep. Yeah, and he's listening to some music on a record player.
Yes, a record player, my friends. And this real music.
This is the kind of... this is Mama Cass, make your own kind of music. It's
darn.
It's the kind of thing that back when I saw this season, whatever year it was for me, 2005, something like that.
Yeah.
I immediately paused and then tried to search for that song and get a copy of it because it was just something I had never really listened to before.
No. So I have. I should have recognized it.
And it, so this guy who we've never seen before is just in this, he's in a bunker of some kind.
Yeah, and we really don't see him well either. We don't see the age. I get a feeling about a guy in his late 20s. Well, he seems to be enjoying himself, taking it really relaxed.
Yeah.
doing stuff that he has done for quite some time. But if he's just in his late 20s, it can't be that long.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about time in this case.
And this is one of the season opener. This is the type of season opener of a show that I love. You see something completely different than anything you've seen before. You're like, what is this? Am I even watching the right show?
Exactly, except for the first shot, which is, of course, Ron's eye. Ron got an eye to watch. I didn't think of it because if now that I recall it, that eye was older than 20 something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we don't know whose eye it is, so let's not bother with it. Now, while he's doing all that stuff and is going to eat, suddenly there's a big explosion somewhere around him. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't got that before, you know it now. That was the explosive of the dynamite from the Black Rock.
Oh, so
This was actually a flashback, Ron.
Sort of. You think so?
It is before the time they blow the dynamite, actually. So it is a flashback, but not with many minutes.
Well, it's not to the Black Rock. It's to when they blew the hatch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But it was prior to it, at least. So it is a bit of a flashback, but for another guy.
Yeah.
A new guy.
Yeah, this is one thing I'll mention now. In these first 3 episodes, they jump a little bit back and forward in the current time, and they re-show you some shots in each episode that you already saw in the last episode, and that was annoying me.
Absolutely.
When I watched it, I was like, why are you showing me this again? I already saw this part. So like the editing in these 3, I think could have, specifically around the hatch, they tried to make it dramatic.
Yeah, and it didn't go well.
Yeah, no, it was just I figured it out, but it was minorly annoying. So this is a guy. Let's just follow this thread actually.
Let's keep doing it.
This is a guy who's down in the hatch. Basically, it seems like in a fallout shelter.
Yeah, let's call it that.
And he he actually through one of the through Jack's flashback, we find that he actually has met Jack before.
Yeah. It is Jack, and about the wife he's getting, Sarah. It's how he's fixing her.
Yeah, and
the flashbacks. And when he doesn't feel like he can do it, he cannot fix Sarah, he's out running, and whilst he's running, he meets this guy.
Yeah, and we're going to call him Desmond, because that'll be easier to keep track of it.
Let's do that. That guy going to be very hard.
Yeah. If you haven't already seen the episode, this is going to get confusing.
Yeah, Desmond.
So Desmond is actually I think he is my second favorite character of the whole series.
He's a cool guy, but a bit gullible.
Okay. He meets Jack running in L.A., I think it is.
Yeah.
And he actually says something to Jack. So he says two things that I noted. One thing that he said to Jack 10 years ago was that he was training for a race around the world.
Yep.
And the second thing he says, whenever they leave each other, he says, "See you in another life."
Yep.
Which I thought was interesting, because this is almost like they're in another life at this point.
But Desmond also have a very strange accent. I haven't really pinned it down, but it is British or Australian. I have really tried to get it, but it might be Wales, it might be Scottish.
That's what I was thinking, Scottish, yeah.
Yeah, Scottish is the most likely. And a Scotsman being in LA, well, that's okay, that can be fun. But a Scotsman going around the world, that's a bit harder for me to get, because they are so likely to be at home.
Well, and this is really interesting, because when you see him back in LA, he almost has a mysterious kind of sly, happy look. He says, to Jack, like, what if it is a miracle? And then Jack goes back and suddenly, a miracle happens. So I almost feel like Desmond had some sort of power,
and that's the connection I want to do to the Celtish part of the Scotsman.
And
the Irish.
then when you see him in the current, what I'll call the current day on the island, down in the hatch, he's like a half crazy,
scientist.
almost like he basically was on his trip around the world, and then he got stuck here, and now he's been alone so long he's going kind of bonkers.
Yeah, but because he's not believing in himself. When he met Jack the first time in LA, he was actually a man of faith. And now he's neither. He's neither science or faith when he's in the bunker. And Jack is actually also wavering. He's a man of science normally, and now he's don't know what he wants, and he doesn't want to change his mind. So
that's interesting. So before we recorded, you mentioned the title. I always thought that Jack is the man of science, Locke is the man of faith, and that was what the title meant.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. That was also what I thought. But now that we're sitting here discussing it, I think that there are several people who are a man of faith. To be totally honest, Locke will never be a man of science, but he might lose his faith. Desmond has already done it.
Mm-hmm. And Jack, I almost thought that when he's with Sarah and she is actually fixed and he's crying, like suddenly he believes in that a miracle happened. Like
yes,
so he's capable of faith, although by the time he gets to the island, he's lost that faith, and he's back.
Something has happened. But if you're really, really thinking about the time schedule here, we have already seen Sarah and Jack be married. So this is what happened before their marriage. And to be totally honest, Jack doesn't have the faith still with him when they are going to be married. It feels like the faith is dropping down.
Yeah, I think it must be... I can only assume it's basically his dad's drinking problem and that stuff.
Yeah. But and we don't know what else has happened on the workplace, is it?
Yeah, so from Desmond to Jack's flashback,
is boring.
I didn't need to see this lady that he's not with anymore. He married her, but then he's not married to her anymore. And she had this She had this fiance who was a total jerk. And
that was a clear character I ever saw one.
I just don't see the chemistry between her and Jack.
No.
And
it's just a miracle,
Well, and I think the whole point of this episode, and I try to pick apart, okay, why is the flashback happening in relation to what's going on the island? And it's all about Jack's bedside manner and him giving hope to the other survivors. It just doesn't seem
Did you really buy him? I mean, when he said that we are all going to be here in the morning, did you really buy his words? Was he sincere enough?
Well, I don't know. He sounded like he was just making a speech to make a speech.
Exactly. I didn't believe him one bit.
And immediately he changes his mind and goes down anyway. Down the hatch without the people.
Yep. I mean, even Locke stand there beside him and said, yes, that's a good idea. I have been tired of waiting. So he just walks off. So
would you have gone down in the hatch at this point?
Nope.
Okay.
Daylight.
I don't know if daylight would really make that big a difference.
Yes, it would.
Well, but I mean, it's a deep, dark hole that you can't really see down anyway. So
the security of sunlight, I don't really know. I'm not the darkness people, so
sure.
No, I would really love to have that one. That's a bit of a odd thing, all that, because we are getting half the story in the first episode, as you say, and suddenly they are all standing there with guns pointing at each other, and Jack recognizes Desmond, but he didn't get the name, did he?
I don't. Not in this episode, but it becomes pretty clear by the third one. So
But we are going to go back and forth as well. Or are we going to take care of these ones? No, we can go back and forth. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, in this one, I mean, that really for Jack, for Desmond and Jack, I think that's all that happens, right?
Yeah.
So I think it would make sense to go to Kate because she gets lowered down into the hatch by Locke. Which, why didn't they just throw a rope and then climb down the rope? I didn't understand why he's lowering her down, and then of course the tree breaks, and
yeah, of course.
I think it was just for the drama of it all. But
yes, but Locke thinks that it's the island that is trying to stop them.
Well, and he was the one rushing off to go down there. Yep. Kate's gonna go help him. She shows up, and suddenly he's like, "You're gonna go down first." I was like, "What a jerk!" What, are you afraid? You suddenly second guessing?
I was waiting for you.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a long shot.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't get that much. Didn't get much attention from me. But Kate falls down or disappears or whatever because someone is actually pointing a light straight in the face of Locke, so he just slips as well, and that breaks the tree.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the other thing, down in that bunker, we see one of the walls has some kind of magnetic powers or something. Some machinery going on down there, maybe. Yep. We have an old computer that's counting down.
Yeah. Well, that has to be, let's see, I've had something similar back in beginning of the 90s, I think.
Like a TRS-80 or something.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
It's funny, every time I saw that computer screen with the black background and the green font, all I could see was an emoticon of an angry dude with like the bracket and then the colon.
Because that's normally not the command line you have. I mean, that's true.
When I first saw this, I thought command line. Now, in my 2016 mind, I immediately think it's an angry guy. So the computer's angry.
Of course it's an emoticon. We have iPhones now.
Yeah, it's just funny how current day has changed my perception of iconography.
Yeah, but still, well, nevertheless. Was there anything else? Because there are only 2 lines in the first episode, 2 different scenery, sort of.
Well, I have one piece of sort of trivia.
Okay.
Number 108. So the countdown clock is 108 minutes.
Yep.
There's a mural painted on the wall down in the hatch that has 108 all over it. So if you add up all the special numbers, they add up to 108. So 4, 15, 16, etc. Just a bit of trivia for this. And I didn't take any notes on anyone else. I know I think we saw Claire and Charlie, we saw Hurley sort of commenting on things happening in the background, but I don't think they really did anything, right?
Nope. It's Shannon and Sayid, and Shannon has lost the damn dog.
Oh, yeah, I completely blocked out that.
Yeah, because it's Shannon. Well, you're a good guy. This is what happens. Shannon has lost, and I quote, the damn dog. Now, why should she call that one? Well, she's angry at herself. And Sayid is actually pointing it out. You are tired. When did you sleep last night? When have you eaten and stuff? And she is really weary. She's tired. You can see it on her. And she gets out in the middle of the jungle trying to find the dog.
Yep.
She didn't lose her way, but she lost a torch. I know that. Who got that one? She had a torch.
She just sort of, I don't know. She heard the whispers.
Yes, and then Sayid shows up. Did he take the torch?
Well, I don't know, but she heard the whispers, and then she saw Walt.
Yes.
A vision, apparently, of Walt. I guess it was hunger-induced, and he's all wet.
Yes, totally wet.
And then he basically says, shh, puts his finger to his mouth. I forgot, does he say? He doesn't, okay.
No.
And I'm not sure exactly what the point of that is now. It happened so quick, and it seemed so important. when I watched this before, but now I'm kind of like...
Well, let's see what I thought. I thought if it should be any logical, and it shouldn't, I suppose, Walt has been getting away from his kidnappers. He has somehow thrown himself into the water or anything, and they couldn't find him. So he's just got himself up on the island. But as the island is the island and nothing else, he's not at the point where Shannon could see him. He is somewhere else, and somehow that is a reflection of Walt or Walt's spirit or whatever showing. And that was when it gets a bit strange for me, because that is not explainable.
Yeah, and I don't think they come back to that at all in the next 2 episodes either. So
no, but I got the feeling that Walt has escaped, and he just wants to make sure that Shannon is safe, that she doesn't have to worry, and that the reason that Vincent ran away was because Vincent knew that Walt was okay, and just checking up on him. So somehow I got a calming feeling that Walt is okay. Now all he has to do is stay quiet. But why doesn't he, in that case, go forward to the gang, getting back to the people?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's...
No. It feels like it's... Well, we are not going to know anything for at least 2 more episodes, so...
Well, and I just think, like, okay, so Shannon has this vision. No one's going to believe her. She's not smart enough to interpret what it means. Exactly. That's where I feel like it was just a wasted supernatural occurrence, but we'll see.
Yeah. There is 2 things. Do you have a favorite moment at all? We have several moments we don't like. I mean, but one of the...
Yeah, mine was the very opening scene with Desmond putting the record on.
That's a really good one. But we also have Hurley, of course, discussing in the background, well, someone is getting blown up, but at least we get them sleeping in the mornings. I really like that one. Yeah. And he's also explaining his version of the numbers for Jack. And Jack watches him, listen, and says, so, you were in an asylum.
Yeah.
That was his summarization of all the... I'm not crazy. It comes straight from early. That scene was rather fun, actually.
It was, and I think it's safe to say most of the dialogue in the first half of this episode was to bring the audience back up to speed of what happened in the end of season 1. And so I think that's why I don't have as many notes on it, because it's still fresh for me. So. Yeah,
but the absolute favorite one is the opening scene. Absolutely, the fallout and the fact that they are choosing that song. I don't know what it's named.
I Make Your Own Kind of Music.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
I should have recognized it. I mean, I'm an old Mamas and the Papas fan. I should have known that. Well,
so
that's how it is.
So let's move on.
Let's move over.
Now this one was...
And as you can hear, Adrift. We are now getting to the sea again.
Yeah, this one actually is... I liked it a lot. I really liked this episode. I thought it was a lot of fun.
And there's a lot of action in this one.
So this one is Adrift. Sawyer and Michael find themselves stuck in the middle of the ocean on what is left of their raft with no sign of Walt or Jin. Claire confronts Charlie about a discovery she made among his belongings.
Oh, yeah.
Locke and Kate face the man in the hatch and discover the significance of the numbers, which I question that statement, but back on the ocean, Michael and Sawyer put aside their differences long enough to reach land where more trouble awaits.
Well, that was... yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, but... So let's talk about the raft, because this is basically mostly about Sawyer and Michael adrift on the ocean, right?
Yep.
I even think this was Michael's flashback, wasn't it?
Yes, and it's really unnecessary.
Yeah, I did. I don't think I took any notes on that whatsoever.
There was nothing that was new in this one.
No,
they could have made that in let's say 15 seconds, and that's it.
It's just reinforcing that he wants his son. I mean,
yeah, we know that.
Yeah,
We don't need that.
I didn't see any parallels there, but
I mean, the fact that he's lying there on the raft shouting Walt's name, I mean, that's enough. You don't need more than that. He wants his son back. Okay, we got that. Now let's have 20 minutes of flashback in order to show you the same thing.
Yeah.
No, we don't need it.
No.
That was the least favorable moment, without any doubt.
But so in your discussion of end of season 1, you talked a lot about Sawyer and Michael, and
yeah, but that was cool.
It was funny because basically we got to see them two together.
Yeah, but that actually became rather natural when I saw it, because yeah, of course that was my thought, because they are on the same spot, and Gene being a bit outsider, but I thought he would be on the raft too.
Well,
so I was actually sitting there trying to watch behind the guys. Where's Gene? Where's Gene? Where's Gene?
Yeah.
So yeah,
it was funny because I felt like last season Jin and Michael were becoming a married couple. Now you see Sawyer and Michael becoming the married couple. And my favorite part is where Sawyer's like they're arguing and then they go on separate floating debris. And then he's like, what are you going to do? Splash me? And then Michael splashes him. Oh man, that was so funny.
How far are they apart? Like 5 feet or something like that. It's not far. Yeah. Oh, shut up. Now that's also something. There is actually also a translation that really made me laugh, because I think it is Michael who says to Sawyer, "Go to hell." And no, it's Sawyer saying that to Michael. And the translation is, "Shut up."
Oh, wow.
That was totally two different things. Wow. And that made me laugh. That's something that you never get, man.
Yeah, and they're both stuck in the same current, so they're both headed back to the island. There's one really cool piece of trivia that I want to mention. I'll say it's trivia, but and you already know this because I sent you a screenshot in email.
Okay. Yeah, but this is not the right order, but yep, let's take it.
Well, it's in this episode, though.
Yeah, but it's not in the order you need to see it.
Okay. Oh, well, okay. If you want to talk about something else first, that's fine.
Now, then we have to go back to the bunker. Just mention the shark. Okay. Just mention the shark.
So there's a shark with a tattoo on its fin. And this screenshot of this shark with the tattoo is the first thing that I saw of Lost when I saw it way back the first time.
Yeah.
And the mystery of what is this shark with the tattoo, this is what actually finally convinced me to watch the show, because I knew about the polar bear, I heard about this black smoke monster, and these weird
polar
numbers.
Bears, they're walking the streets up here, you know that.
And but then to see that there's also this shark, and people were saying, is it a robot shark? Is it what is it? So we don't know.
Is it real?
Yeah, it flashes by the screen very quickly. You would barely even
notice it. No, not very quickly, my friend. It is just exactly moving in that spot because you need to be sure that everyone sees the tattoo. It is not quick. We could have had that very much faster. The first time we see this emblem or badge or whatever, we have somewhat a different one with a name inside of it. And that was flashing by quickly.
Yeah, yep. We saw it last episode in the hatch. It's the logo for something called the Dharma Initiative.
Yes.
And the one in the hatch actually has a swan in the middle. So it's a...
I thought it was a snake, but...
what is the 8-sided figure? Tetragram? I think. I think it's called a tetragram, and in the center of it is a circle with the symbol of a swan. And it's a logo for some company or some initiative called the Dharma, which is the people that built the hatch and stocked it full of food.
Yep.
And apparently have something to do with the shark.
Exactly, because on the shark we don't see the name Dharma and we don't see the swan. But the rest is there.
Oh, is it? See, I couldn't.
Yes.
It was so blurry and stuff. All I could see was the shape of the symbol.
That's the good part of rewinding and freezing pictures and moving them at half speed backwards and stuff. Oh, I watched it closely, man.
So we're in the hatch. This is happening in parallel, and Kate gets locked up in the food pantry, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
in darkness, and she doesn't like darkness. We know that.
And Desmond, this is where the editing was a little bit weird, where they kind of jumped back and forth.
Yeah.
So Desmond has a gun on Kate and asks John Locke, "Are you him? Are you him?"
Yes.
And of course, stupid Locke is like, "Yes, I'm him."
Well, he isn't.
No, but then he doesn't know the secret password whenever Desmond says, "What did one snowman say to the other snowman?"
Yes. He doesn't know that, and well, then he's not him.
Yeah.
So that was good. That is taken care of immediately. I like that.
Yeah. Yep. So they're in the hatch, and Locke's kind of trying to talk to Desmond. We do confirm, this is where we confirm that it's been 44 days since the crash.
Yes, that's true.
And I think this is when Jack comes in too, but Desmond is surprised to see them, and he's obviously very agitated, and he says, like, "Is the world still out there?" or "The world is still there." So he seems to react to the 44 days, and he thinks that the world has ended, and he's, this is where your fallout comes into play. Desmond thinks that he's a survivor in some sort of fallout shelter that is basically every 108 minutes he has to type those special numbers into a computer to keep the world alive.
Yes, and we can just as well tell you, because in the next episode we are going to be knowing that stops or rewinds the electromagnetic thingy they have down there from blowing up or whatever it is, because it's on this island. If this island is destroyed, the whole world is going to be destroyed. That's what he believes, at least.
Yeah.
We are not getting that totally straight until next episode, but
No.
Let's put it there, because these 108 minutes didn't give me anything in the first two episodes. Nothing at all. I didn't believe it. Well, I was Jack for some time.
Yeah, well, it was definitely weird. Like, what is this whole concept? Is it? I was thinking that it was an experiment, same as Jack. Like, some guy tricked you into coming here, and you believed it, and now they're monitoring you, and you're pressing this button every 108 minutes. Like, think about that. By the way, I don't know how many hours of sleep you get a night, but if you had to wake up every 108 minutes and press a button,
1 hour and 48 minutes. Ooh, that's not much.
Yeah,
I would be totally gone.
Yeah, that's a weird thing.
Mm-hmm. Now, there is one thing we spoke about. I'm still talking about time perspective. I mentioned that in our recap, and I'm looking forward. You said something about Sarah and Jack being 10 years ago. That is, Desmond and Jack was meeting each other 10 years ago.
Yep.
Did they say that at any time? I missed that.
Well, most of the flashbacks, I think, are in 94, like around then, and this was 2004.
Okay.
You can see Jack has that very different hairstyle.
Yeah, but that doesn't give me any time. Well, never mind. It was just a thought I had.
I'm almost certain that the time frame, because Desmond has been down in the hatch 3 years.
Yes.
But
we don't get to know that until next episode.
Oh, I'm sorry. Whoops.
That's the problem with this back and forward.
Yeah.
But we are getting. Kate is actually getting a Swiss Army knife from Locke when he ties her up, and she makes herself free. This is also important because Kate is then going up into the ventilation system after having half a chocolate bar.
An Apollo bar.
We don't have them over here, so I'm just kidding.
Oh, it's not. Yeah. I don't think it actually exists in the real world either.
Oh, thank you.
I think it's a show invention, but for some reason, it's one of those details that sticks out, and then everyone
Yeah.
who eats a candy bar in the rest of the show, it's always that Apollo candy bar.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
Then we know that Hurley is talking about Twinkies and stuff, or whatever you call them.
true. Yeah.
So, yeah. But she has to have an Apollo, half a Apollo bar, and that is. And Apollo was also a hero, right?
Well, I mean, these guys have been on this island for 45 days.
Yep.
I mean, she just couldn't resist a reminder of the old life.
Yeah, exactly. But she went up the ventilation system, and that's important. She's free, and thanks to the fact that Desmond is actually starting the music in the whole complex, she's able to move pretty fast all over the place up there, because she's actually moving inside a little confined space with metal climbing. I mean, it is rather noisy to get anywhere. But thanks to Desmond starting the music, that was taken care of, because I was really worried, because he could just have put a bullet right through the metal things.
Well, she's watching them through a grate up there, and she actually almost gets hit by the stray shot.
Yep.
That hits off the grate. I thought that was a nice.
I didn't think about it before, but that's the connection we are getting in the editing afterwards. But it doesn't add anything.
Yeah, it just made me feel like they repeated the same scene a couple times. So
we are now going to do this 3 times. How do we do it?
Yeah, it basically.
Thankfully, we have.
So basically, Jack, Locke, Kate, and Desmond are kind of having a gun standoff. Down in the hatch there, and they kind of learn that he has to put the numbers in.
Well, not until next episode. I know it sounds odd, but no, there's more papers on episode 3 than on 2. Now, what do we have more? You can drop the bunker by now, by the way, because you don't have it. Mm-hmm. But on the way in, Locke is actually showing us the Dharma Initiative badge, and that is like 20 minutes before the shark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I got the connection. When the shark suddenly flew by, I said, "Whoop, I have seen that. Back up. It took me nearly 5 minutes to do it, but still. Yeah, there it is. Now, there is a couple of things. We don't bother with that. Go to hell. Salt water in the wound. Do you have a Band-Aid? Sawyer is making fun. Jack. Charlie's got a statue.
That's exactly what I wrote down. Charlie's got a statue. That I have written as my least favorite moment.
Yeah. It was totally useless. Well, it confirms what I suspected.
Yeah.
But he hasn't opened it.
Yeah, I thought it was... I thought the dialogue with Claire was kind of nice. She's like, what do you need that for? You know, he's be respectful, don't break it. Obviously, trying to hide. But, I mean, we knew he was going to be tempted or something.
And we also know that before they got famous, he and his band, he was rather religious. And after a while, first time we saw Charlie, actually, he was in a church. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In his flashbacks. Now, let's get back to Sawyer and Michael. They are finally getting onto a pontoon, and that pontoon, and the sun is up, and they see the island coming again towards them.
You can see their body language. You would think they would be relieved, but I felt they were like, oh, after all that, we're back. This sucks.
The stream took us back again, so he says. And actually, he doesn't like the way... He just confirming the facts, but he didn't like to say it either.
Yeah.
So they get on board, and they had just touched ground when suddenly someone is shouting, yelling, running. It's Jin.
Yeah, he's yelling to others. That's the only English word I could hear.
Yes, he's not even saying the others. He's just saying others. And that really, you know that other is something other as well. So if you spelling it UDD and so on. So actually, I thought that was rather fun, but it was action. Suddenly, it was action, and I nearly woke up, and suddenly, the others show.
Well, we see a group of, I'll say primitive looking, like people with ripped up clothes and weapons
Maces
with nails sticking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
And I think
I don't get a civilized view of this. I don't think this is Robinson Crusoe's enemies.
Well,
this is the others.
This is what you were talking about in the recap of season 1. Is now we have our groups of people. Now we have the people on the boat. We have Desmond, his group or himself. Now we also have this group of ragtag looking people, and we don't know if they're with the people on the boat, if they're separate. So this is where, like you said, it starts to maybe get confusing because there's so many groups.
Yes. At this point, I sat down, actually. I sat down and suddenly, because we had talked about it, I sat down and suddenly thought, hold it. The flight, our group, that's number 1. And then I have the others with the kids. It has to do with the kids. So Ethan and the guys on the boat, I'm putting them in the same one.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh, yeah,
and then we have Danielle.
Kids. Okay, yep.
Yeah. Then we have Danielle. She might have had something to do with the kids, but at the moment she is a separate group. And then we have the Dharma Initiative with our Desmond. And before that it was Kelvin, I think.
Yep.
Yep. Desmond, who has been with the Dharma Initiative for 3 years, and that hatch has been there since the 80s, 1980. We're getting back to that. So that's a fourth group. And then we have this gang with the spiked clubs and stuff.
Yeah, we don't know.
And a big guy, a really big guy.
We don't know anything about them yet because this is where the episode ends, though.
This isn't Robinson Crusoe's Friday. That's a whole week, that guy. I can tell you that. He was a really good one. So suddenly I'm just sitting there. Do I really dare to watch another episode? Because this was no way. Suddenly I was stiff. I was scared. But we need another episode.
All right.
Is there anything from episode 2 that we can...
That's all my notes.
Yep.
I liked it though a lot. Just the whole back and forth between Sawyer and Michael was my.
Yeah, and the pacing is good still. I talked about this pacing stuff, and I'm feeling now. You and I have been doing some reviews in different types, and we are often talking about pacing, having a story to pace in a certain way. And I've also been educated in pacing in literature, so I've been reading that a lot. So this is actually very, very good, even if there is some action in the end, yes, but we need that in order to waken up the people. That's good.
Yeah. Okay.
So, should we go back to the hatch?
So, orientation? Should we go to that one?
Yep.
All right, episode 3. Kate damages the hatch computer in a struggle with Desmond. Desmond tells Jack and Locke how he arrived at the island and shows them a film detailing the Dharma Initiative. Michael, Sawyer, and Jin are imprisoned with a woman they recognize from the airport. Desmond flees the hatch, leaving Jack and Locke at odds. Saeed races to fix the computer in time to enter the numbers and save the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he doesn't even bother to know why. He just do.
So
it starts with the now I'm calling them the Navy.
Okay.
That's Michael and Jin and Sawyer. The Navy is in the hole, and I'm telling them they are put there by gang number 5.
Okay.
Just because I'm going to find who is who.
Well, I thought I was actually shocked. So they're on the beach, and this group with the spike clubs is coming at them. Yeah. And they're running. The black guy is running towards them with a big giant stick, and before any of them can do anything, whack! He just smacks Sawyer right in the face, and Sawyer goes down, and then he smacks Michael. I felt that impact, like they were not expecting this ferocious greeting.
Nope.
I mean, there was no parlay, nothing. It was just
no reasoning, no nothing. It was just
vicious,
smack them down and throw them in a hole.
Yeah. So they're down there, and
it is prepared. This dungeon down there is pretty deep down there. Yeah. Someone has been digging for some time, and there's a reason they need that hole. And that was really why. That's not a survival thing. You don't go and dig a prison the first thing you do. So something has happened.
Yeah, that's like a holding pen.
Yeah. And then, because we now know something that we shouldn't, now we know that it's been dug the last 44 days. But for me, it was something that has been there for quite some time, and that this gang they have just met has been on the island very, very long. That was my initial feeling.
Well, I started to suspect. So when they were walking away from the beach, I noticed the clothes of one of the people was more modern and tattered. Like the black guy is just wearing pants, so he looks like a native. And the girl next to him is in really tattered clothes. But then there was another person just in jeans and a shirt. So I thought, oh, that's interesting.
Okay, good eye view there. I was totally in shock, even if I saw these episodes back to back anyway. But still,
So they're in the hole. Let's just take this thread. So a girl gets thrown down the hole with them.
Yep.
And it's Ana Lucia, which only Jack met at the airport, I think. I don't think the others recognize her, do they?
No.
No, okay. Because this piece of paper here says that they recognize her, but I'm almost positive they don't recognize her. And she was a cop, so you see her almost taking Ethan's tactic, where she's infiltrated the group. She's starting to.
Hold it. She's a cop.
Well, she was. Wasn't she a cop in real life?
Ah, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what she told Jack. Maybe I'm remembering wrong.
Totally missed that. Totally forgot. Okay, yes, but you keep on.
Yeah, because she's kind of asking them questions. She sees the gun, she recognizes it, and then the way that she takes it from him and uses it. So basically, she was planted in there to try and figure out who they were.
Yeah.
And that...
And somehow they get, you're from the tailplane section, Sawyer asks. And she doesn't really answer that. Mm-mm. That I felt, why shouldn't she say yes to that?
Yeah, so we're assuming that this group of people that captured them is also from the plane. Is that what I'm hearing in your voice?
Yes. Suddenly Rose is actually having right.
Oh. Yeah, we haven't seen her yet.
Told you so.
We haven't seen her yet, but so
Rose said her husband. No, that big guy can't be her husband. No way, man.
I can see how you would draw that conclusion. I can't confirm
mainly
nor
because
deny.
he's a black man, yes, but still, he's a survivor. That's a survivor, and Rose said that her husband has survived. That's the connection I'm making. There are probably some other black dudes as well. I don't know. I haven't seen them all yet, but
that's a good intuitive guess. It's a good guess. We'll see.
I just made it. I haven't written it down.
Well, we and you said something a minute ago. So something happened to them that they felt the need to make this pit trap.
Yeah, something must have happened. Now suddenly we know that this gang number 5 is also from the plane.
Yeah.
They have had some other experience than our group has.
I would definitely say so.
Yeah, okay. We are getting up to speed with that later on. All right. But Sawyer is trying to get up, and then the girl gets down, and then he gets stolen of his gun. But did they leave this dungeon hole? They opened up the hatch later on, didn't they, to its hole?
No, there. Well, I think we don't know what happened there yet. There's really nothing else more that we saw.
No,
there.
okay, good.
Everything else happened in John's flashback and in the hatch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
John's flashback. I wanted more of John Locke, and I got it, but it wasn't what I wanted.
Well, you finally meet who Helen is, maybe.
Yes.
The girl.
And I think I recognize that actor.
Oh, I really like her a lot. She's from Married with Children.
Thank you. I knew it.
And her name just escaped me, but
Kate something, right? Katie. Well, no.
Yes. Yeah, no, I like her a lot. She meets him in an anger management class, and that's
one of their favorite moments, actually, when he tells people that you want your $30 back, I want my kidney back.
Well, it's interesting. So this happens after somewhat recently, maybe after the kidney incident.
Yeah.
But before the part where he's calling the 1-800 number to talk to a fake Helen.
Okay, I didn't get that connection right.
Well, remember,
I have no idea who's Helen's who at the moment. Well, I thought it was the same one.
Well, no, in one of Locke's flashbacks, right before he goes to Australia,
when he's lying in the bed, yes.
Yeah, he's talking to someone, and she's like, "It'll be this much more for extra minutes," and so by that point,
missed that one.
Yeah, so by that point, he's either not with her anymore, or he's trying to pretend someone else is her. Like, it's really strange.
Now that you say it, I guess he has told the lady he's phoning that she is to be called Helen.
Exactly.
Okay. That means that he is talking to his old Helen, but it's another lady.
Right.
Totally has nothing to do with the real. Okay, let's sort that one out. That's good.
He's paying her to pretend she's Helen, and it's interesting because in this episode he basically decides that he is so stuck on his dad that he picks that over her.
Yeah.
And
actually even fooling Helen once.
Not really, but trying to. And this is just where John just is so weak. Like,
Oh yeah. He's not the person we're seeing on the island.
No, so pathetic.
So he doesn't know which leg to stand on in this case. Mm-hmm. And he's actually having the same moment of disbelief inside the hatch or in the bunker. But we are not seeing it because he is actually suddenly yelling at the island, "What do you want from me? What do I do wrong?" He's actually having the same disbelief there, but it's not really the same otherwise. But he's getting back to be weak again, I suppose.
Now, do you think that the island wanted them to get in that hatch? Let's go back to that question. Now that we know what's in there, we don't know everything, but we see something weird that's going on in there. And it's basically shut off. Whoever's in there is locked in, but the island... Did it not want them to get in, or did it want them to get in? I can't decide.
If you listen to my different types of gangs, I was up to 5 different gangs, and I even mentioned the island because I think the island has to fit with one of these 5 gangs, and I can't really see how it's fitting in with the children abusing thingies. And I don't see how Daniel and the island is getting along, because Daniel is actually fighting the island. So it has to be Dharma and the island has to be somewhat fit together. And we are actually getting some sort of orientation about the Dharma initiative in this case.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because that was...
because that's going to be connected to my discussion about the island.
We are like 180 degrees from a shipwrecked, deserted island at this point.
Yeah, totally. Suddenly, the Dharma Initiative has been... I'm not totally sure why they did this. We are getting to see an old movie, and we are seeing it. It's made 1980. Something has happened. It started in the late 60s, beginning of the 70s. They are actually taking what is his name, B.F. Morgan and some other known guys.
Alvar Hanso is the fictitious head of
he's
this
the
place.
And they are, no, I can't explain what it is the Dharma Initiative wanted from the beginning, but they needed to have people put in different places.
Yeah, according to the orientation film, now this...
But we need to see.
Well, so this... Okay, this whole construct of this hatch and pressing the button over and over, Jack alleges that it's some kind of weird social experiment. So
I can agree on that.
So, wouldn't that mean that whatever's on that tape is not really true, that it's all part of the experiment?
Yeah.
So we don't know if this tape is real or not at this point. It could be part of the whole experiment.
Yeah.
But basically what you see in there is that it's this group of hippies that wants to do good for the planet, and study.
Collect all these scientific people to research on paranormal stuff and
but also psychic stuff.
Just put some LSD in your mouth and shut up.
And they are coming. What he says in the video, that guy is I just forgot his name. That guy, Marvin Candle, in the video is, and he only has one arm, by the way. One of his arms was prosthetic. I don't know if you noticed that.
Okay, I don't know.
But he says that they are on this island to investigate the strange electromagnetic properties.
Yes. Okay.
And if there was an incident, they don't say what it was. There was some kind of incident. And that's why they're required to push this button, and it resets, like you said earlier, the electromagnetic properties, or it will be very bad.
Yeah, it's too vague.
Yeah.
And that's not enough. And that's where Jack has a point. You just don't believe that straight off the bat. Even Desmond is gullible enough to believe it. He's just landing after a shipwreck 3 years ago, and a guy called Kelvin comes and picks him up and drags him down the hole. Now there is another way out. There's something. Mm-hmm. And he puts him down there, and he explains with the movie, that little film piece, and we need to help each other. And Kelvin and Desmond are happy, and what Desmond does is he believes this totally. He doesn't even discuss it, and that's the same guy who's actually believing on faith.
Yeah. Well, I get the feeling that there's more to the story, because he says that, and then he glosses over the fact that, and then Desmond died, and then Kelvin died, and he just keeps on going. And at one point he asks, I forgot if he asked Jack or Locke, but he says 43 people survived. He said, have they started getting sick? So he and Rousseau both are thinking that people on this island get sick for some reason and go crazy.
Yes. They believe it.
Which I don't think we've seen anyone in our crew going crazy. Like in our, what do you call it? Gang number one.
Yeah. Gang number
the
one.
Little Rascals. Our gang.
That's cool.
So Desmond, he's there, and then he and Jack do recognize each other, and he's... Well...
Oh, we need to go back a bit, because Kate is actually shooting the computer.
Yeah.
Kate got that shot, almost killed her. She goes back, she drops down, and that's the weapons armory. Thank you very much. She just takes a shotgun. Actually, I wouldn't take a shotgun. Nevertheless. And she loads it up, pumps it up, and goes out, and she actually puts a bullet into a computer. And the computer, oh dear.
And Desmond is like, Oh no, now you've done it.
Yes, you have just killed the whole world. And Kate doesn't say one thing more.
No, I get that. I got her from her body language the impression that she's like overwhelmed and just trying to figure out what's
Yeah.
going on because she just was tied up and captured, and
Yep.
there's all this food and like, this
Having
is
yeah, but still, she's holding a low profile,
yeah.
very low profile. She said say something in the end, but it
Well,
really doesn't. Well,
no. And then she runs off to get the professor. I mean, Saeed,
yeah, Mister Fix It All.
to fix a computer within 108 minutes. Are you kidding me?
Yes, changing the motherboard and everything. Yeah, right.
Oh man, but that's fine. So
Yeah,
that
yep.
that happens. Basically, Desmond runs off. This whole piece here is designed to test Jack's fate, I guess. Faith.
Yeah, yeah. And
And
man, I was disappointed.
well, he saw. He's the only one I think that saw the magnetic properties of the wall.
Yeah,
So he
because his
knows.
key, yes, was going towards it.
Yeah, so he knows there's something going on here. Do you think did he press the button because he believed it, or he just wanted to get that over with, or what do you think?
Well, that's the problem with the flashback, because if we're going back to the first episode and the flashbacks back there, he is losing faith. He's never had any faith. His bedside manners are without any faith. Suddenly he's just trying, well, let's try this route then. But I was really disappointed. I thought he shouldn't.
Right, I actually thought he doesn't. I thought he waited till the clock ticked down, and then see if anything happens, he could press the button or not. I think what clinched it for him was Hurley trying to trick Locke into putting in the wrong number.
Yes.
And I think Jack, part of it was that he was just fed up with all of this weird stuff, and he just like, Hurley, you gave him the wrong number, fix the number, just press the stupid button.
Yeah.
Buy us another 108 minutes to figure out what the heck is going on here.
Okay.
Like, there's no harm in pressing it so that everyone can calm down and reassess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but now he has done it, because
Yeah.
now everyone believes that he believes, and he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't go very far beyond this point. So I'm
Nope.
But Locke's gonna take the first shift. Like, Locke is all in. He's like, I'm ready. Every 108 minutes, I'm gonna press this button.
Yeah, man, I am. He loves it. And
Now-
the same thing with him. He just buys it. Totally. Now, the electromagnetic whatever is
Yeah.
actually what's causing the compasses to not work properly.
Probably that would make sense to me anyway. Yep.
That is connection back to Saeed trying to make a potato compass and all that stuff.
Yeah. So before we get too far from this, though, would you press the button? So
Nope.
you're stranded on an island. You go down the hatch. You find some psycho guy with a gun. He tells you this crazy story.
And you see that little movie, yeah. And I would be just like Jack. I would say, no. You can't just be as gullible as all that. You can't just be as blue-eyed. That's impossible. You need to have more meat to the bone, so to speak. This isn't enough for me to just press a button. And because has just come from a place where everything worked, except for the plane, so to speak. We are trying to get our father home with his coffin and all that. I mean, that's only 44 days away. I mean, Desmond has been here for 3 years. Of course, he's a bit gaga, but Jack hasn't been gaga for 44 days. So he's still going, no, this is too. Perhaps in yet another 2.5 years, perhaps he would press the button like crazy. But not now. No, he has too much of real world into him, and he's been out there surviving for 45 days. Desmond could just easily done that.
Yeah, there's a couple things that occurred to me when I first watched it, and also even this time, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, Desmond's gone. You guys have the run of this place. You have 40 other people waiting to be saved.
Yeah.
This place isn't that big. There's food, but there's not that much food.
No, Hurley can eat it all.
Aw.
They was actually going around. Kate and Hurley was going around searching for the electricity and the reserve generator.
Yeah.
But Hurley stopped looking because he saw food.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. But never mind.
Well,
he didn't take any that we saw.
Well, remember when they first crashed, he was pretty much in charge of handing out the food to everybody?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So...
You mean that he sees the opportunity to give people some food? Okay, yeah. We'll buy that.
Right,
well,
I didn't read it as a selfish kind of
thing. No, I'm just saying that I reacted to it because I didn't like it.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think I'll give you another piece of trivia about this one. After Jack and Locke watched the orientation film, they sit and like they say to each other, like, we need to watch it again, and Jack's like, I'm not watching it again. What's the use? That part, I think I heard that dialogue was put in basically for the TV audience, because we're all like, wait a minute, I gotta rewind and watch that again. What did I miss?
Yeah. And that's, well, for you and me, it's okay now that we have the DVDs. I'd probably go and watch that movie once more. But I didn't do it now. But when they are sending it live, it's impossible. And that's really teasing.
Yeah, but this was... So when Lost came out, this was the first time where people were doing that. They were recording it on their VHS. They were screen capping it on their computers. They were discussing it. By this point, the message boards were full of all that rewatching stuff.
Okay, so the producers actually thought about that, used it.
Exactly.
So good.
And this is where they're putting stuff in the show just so people will go back and rewatch it and look for clues. Remember the shark?
Yeah.
And things. This is when all this stuff starts getting piled on. This is really where people are like, it's too much, I'm out, or I'm totally invested.
Yes, exactly. Well,
yeah.
It's like with the Star Wars hype has been going on for half a year now.
Oh, that was such a good movie. I've seen it 18 times.
Okay.
See, I'm saying that because we're recording this before it comes out, but you're listening to this several weeks after it comes out.
Exactly.
I'm crossing my fingers under the desk.
I'm still waiting for January 12th.
I know. I can't believe they brought Jar Jar Binks back and he killed Princess Leia. It's amazing.
Don't do that. Well, now there's not that many cliffhangers in Lost because Locke is down there taking care of the bunker. We know that. Jack, Kate, Hurley is getting back. But there are going to be more going back and forth to this place, this bunker. And there is a way to get in there, a very easy, accessible way. Mm-hmm. Is there?
Yeah.
So why is it said quarantine on that hatch?
Well, and it's on the inside, right? So meaning whoever was inside there shouldn't leave because... Also, you saw... we didn't mention this, but you saw Desmond in the first episode injecting himself with something.
Yes.
And remember, what's her name? Rousseau was injecting Saeed with something.
Yes.
And Claire thought she was being injected with something. So this sickness, this whole injection thing is also...
a part of it, of course, yes.
So somehow Calvin, since he was there before Desmond, and Rousseau have some similar belief system that we'll have to wait to find out, I guess. Yeah.
And I also, but this is just a vague, very vague. This is the hatch Swan.
Yeah.
It felt station. Like, why are you calling it? Why do you need it? Why do you need to have a special mark for one hatch? If that's the only hatch, the only bunker on the island. You don't need to call it something special. I got a feeling, just a short one while watching the movie, that there are several bunkers on this island. Now that would be totally strange, because the electromagnetic thing are placed one place. You don't need to have 3 or 5 or 10 bunkers pressing a button 108 minutes. I mean, that didn't make sense to me, so I just said, no, I'm misjudging this. But I did have a strange feeling about several bunkers. Perhaps Daniel has caught up with someone else's bunker then. I don't know.
So I think I'm looking back at your notes or your observations. So I think you had thought maybe that it was created in World War II in the 40s. I think I can strike that one out.
That's strike one.
Yeah.
The last thing we know that the Dharma Initiative was still working at 1980, because that movie was made in 1980.
Yeah.
The translator didn't notice that. He just said Dharma.
And it was the Dharma was formed in the 70s. So
yes.
So I think this is new. And your other note was that, well, I don't know if this is relevant actually. I won't bring that
Test
up.
it.
Well, I was just going to say, like, okay, if this hatch is an experiment to see how long people will push a button,
yeah,
you mentioned that you thought the others were doing stem cell experiments on kids. So
yeah,
maybe there are other stations that they're doing different experiments.
Now suddenly it sounds logic, actually, because that could be a twist or a spin-off of the Dharma Initiative, but has nothing to do with the Dharma. Dharma has nothing to do with it now. They have stopped pushing the button, so to speak. This is another group of people who has somehow... Now I'm not knowing what I'm talking about. I hear that.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
you'll see, because we are going up against the 4 next ones.
Well, 3, right?
So, sorry, 3.
We're going to do episode 4, 5, and 6 next week. So watch them before we get there.
The first one is Everybody Hates Hugo.
And I'm gonna admit that during our season 1 watching, I slipped in that phrase in the episode where you were talking about him giving out the food and they were running out and everyone was blaming him.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, it's almost as if everybody hates Hugo." And I was being silly.
I didn't notice that.
No, I thought maybe the listeners might notice. But anyway.
Good one. Next one is And Found.
Yeah, like Lost and Found.
Yes, and then episode 6 is Abandoned.
Yeah.
So these are the 3 ones we are going to talk about in a week from now.
And other than the fact that 4 is probably about Hurley, these titles don't really give me any clue to what's coming up.
And not really. Abandoned might be something with Claire, perhaps. Shannon. Yeah, Shannon maybe.
I was thinking Claire too with the baby, but
we don't know Claire's history, because maybe she was abandoned. Maybe she was brought up with some adoption or foster parents. We don't know. So it might be her as well.
Could be.
Could be. As long as it's not Charlie and Shannon, I'm totally fine. I don't like them. They're good characters and they're good actors. I must say that again and again. They are so good at actors, but I don't like the characters more for that. And this is just something that has nothing to do with Lost. A part of me during the 90s and the 2000s is that I have so hard watching the so-called new actors like Carmen Diaz and whatever they call, someone called J-Lo. Is she really an actor? I don't know. But there are so many of them. And when I see them, I see the same figure, the same character playing in the same type of movie. It's like seeing Jim Carrey being cloned into different people. Because I was really tired of watching the same thing over and over again. I just stopped watching. Mid-90s something. And I haven't seen anything. So Lost was my first attempt to get back on track. And now I know that with these new actors, well, new to me anyway, and with these new type of characters, I would have succeeded actually, and I would have had some more fun. But better late than never.
Yeah. Well, not every show is made by this group of producers and showrunners, and
Nope.
what they put into this show is really another thing about the show is this is really the first time. It's not the first time, but it's the first time in popular culture that the internet was.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about it online, and also that the people running the show, the showrunners, were talking directly to the public, to the viewers, and putting things in the episodes for the viewers and vice versa.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I think made this so popular too, is like we felt like we were connected and driving the show.
Exactly. You were making comments, and they are putting those comments sort of into an episode to come.
Exactly.
Just with just some little hints. Oh, I talked about that. Oh, I can see that now. Thank you. They are actually, now, to be totally honest, they are still trying to do it out there, aren't they? With their trailers and plenty of stuff they are pre-showing. But I don't think they succeed in the same manner. They don't.
Well, this is what I think. This show basically, right place at the right time, brought some things together, and just like it brought some people together. Yeah. And I mean, I've said it's at least 11 times now in each of our episodes, but this is my favorite show, so I'm glad you're still enjoying it.
Yes, and we can also say that if they had made it 5 years earlier, there wouldn't be that type of internet. If they had been made this show 5 years later, it would have been totally washed out by all these superheroes and stuff that is going on nowadays. So yes, it was totally timed correctly.
Yeah. Oh, I would say we wouldn't have a lot of the same shows we do today.
No.
Because I can point to probably at least 4 or 5 series, in fact, 2 series that are currently going on that are basically like Lost, where a group of people stranded in a weird place, weird stuff's happening.
Yeah, we have that.
Yeah, this is...
The Dome. I know I watched the Dome a couple of times. Didn't like it, but still it was some... That was one strange one. There is one more. No, I don't remember.
The series called The 100. Wayward
that
Pines.
Was the first one. And we had the 400s as well, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't know that much about that one, but that Leftovers, there's a lot of shows that take this type of character-driven storytelling where the environment is a character as well.
Yeah, but it will not be the same, because the classic will be Lost. Lost will be the one that is leading the way.
Sure.
Looking forward, when you and I are gone and Matthew and my son is sitting there watching telly, where they are going to look at Lost. They're not going to look at Doom or Leftovers. I don't think so.
I think this is a whole nother topic for another hour. I think we've covered these 3 episodes fairly well.
Yes, we should go. But this is spin-offs. That's what happens when our brains are just going idle.
Oh yes, the show has made us think. It's amazing.
You warned me about that. Right. Well, I think we have emptied the 3 episodes, and I'm glad we are starting season 2 already. Next one.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.